Hi guys, welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. Ladies in Red are back. I'm buzzing to say I'm joined by the girls again for this one. It's going to be an interesting one, no doubt, as well. A lot to talk about, but I'll start by introducing you to the girls. Firstly, Emma, how are you doing tonight?
I'm not bad. A little bit tired, but I'm all good.
I know that feeling, honestly. I'm ready to break up for Christmas there. I'm so ready to break up. Not long left, though. Not long left. Counting in the days. Meg, how are you doing?
I am good. I feel like I'm on widescreen TV, though, because I have changed camera. So I feel like I'm like, whoa. Do I still look good today?
Yeah, you look HD. I like it. You look good. I want to shout out ECL Gaming, who are sponsoring this show tonight. So a massive thank you to them. And if you are into gaming, I will be streaming. I'll give you more details later on, but I'll be streaming some FIFA on Thursday. So come and check that out. But let's put FIFA aside for a second and talk about real football. Unfortunately, Manchester United back in town, obviously playing against Sheffield on Thursday. It's an interesting game. Obviously, we're talking off camera and saying Sheffield, I think it's 1 point they've got this season. Like you said, Meg, 1 point. They're struggling, bottom of the league. But Emma, like you said, that losing run has got to end at some point. And I'm just praying that it's not going to be against us. I mean, how are you feeling about the game, Emma, on Thursday?
Do you know what? I am feeling confident. It should be an easy game for us. Their form is absolutely dreadful. They cannot score. So for me, I feel like it should be an easy game. But it is like how Ollie approaches it. I just hope Ollie doesn't approach it defensively because there's no need. There is no need. I don't want to be harsh on Sheffield, but their form is absolutely shocking. So I'm feeling confident. It should be an easy win for us. But like you said, Safe, we are Manchester United, and their losing streak could end like any second, and it will just come to us when it just has to be Manchester United that will do it.
Hopefully not. For me, and I'm going to have to make this in a minute, but for me, it's all about how we approach this game.
Yeah.
If we go into this game complacent, we'll come out unstuck. Guarantee it. Because Sheffield United, you mentioned it, Emma, last season, they had a good season. They're a very decent team. They've got a decent manager. No doubt about it. If we turn up complacent, we will be punished. I mean, Meg, all honestly, hand on heart, are you feeling confident going into this one?
Yeah, I am feeling confident, and I feel like we should have every reason to be confident. They are bottom of the league, and for me, they're bottom of the league for the reason they've been found out massively this season. But that being said, I do feel like it'll be a team that we're going to have to break down, and we know that we don't do that as well as we do a counter attack. So it's not going to be an easy rollover, I don't think, because I feel like we've got to find that kind of rhythm to be creative and that fluid football so that we can move the opposition about rather than them just sit back.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say big up to Connor. Connor, I hope you're doing well. Looking forward to Christmas. It's been a long time since I spoke to you, so I hope you're doing well. FIFA Gamers in the chat says that's an odd request. I don't know what you're referring to there, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's something to do within the chat. United losing to Sheffield. Hell yes, disdain. Please don't start throwing them muggers off. Come on, Diz. But you know what? You are right. That is typical of us, isn't it? I mean, we'll talk about first. We haven't reviewed and recapped. There's not a lot to talk about, to be fair, from that derby the other day, but we will touch on it. Manchester derby, such a boring 0-0 game. Like I said, I'm struggling to talk about it, to be fair. But I mean, Em, I'll start with you. What's your summary of that game? How did you find it?
Boring. I nearly fell asleep. Do you know what? It just didn't feel like a derby, did it? I know that fans not being there didn't help, but it just didn't feel like a derby. Like, where's that anger? Where's that, that fight? Both teams came into that game playing for a draw, and it was just dull. It was boring. It was flat. There was just nothing there. It just did not feel like a derby, and I was just sat there like, this. What's happening? Like, this is not a derby. No, I just wanted a bit more passion for the lads, and I'm guessing you've all seen like the Maguire hug after. Like, I don't know what you feel about that, but for me, if you're going to do that, do it away from the pitch, because a derby, us fans want that kind of passion and anger where the Roy Keanes, that kind of fight in a game where you hate each other on the pitch. Gary Neville never did that. Do you know what I mean? He blanked his own brother. Do you know what I mean? So it just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it. It was like, I mean, I agree with what Andy said there. It feels like a pre-season friendly. It was just a really boring, dull, flat game. No team really wanted to win it, and that was the frustrating thing. Because I genuinely believe that if we did want to win it and we went for the win, we could have got that, but we just didn't go for it. I felt like City were there for the take, and they just weren't at it either, were they? So it was a frustrating one. I mean, Meg, thoughts on that derby game?
I mean, it wasn't a showstopper, was it? Let's be honest. But I am going to be, probably an unpopular opinion, I wasn't that concerned by it.
Is that just because you've got a point against City, though? You're taking that as, oh, it's City, we've got a point, it's a decent point looking back on it.
Not just that, because I think City are a good team. And I feel like, you know, like Emma said, it was a derby, and I'd have loved to have seen a bit more about it. Because I completely agree with the fact that it was boring, it was dull. But we got knocked out of the Champions League midweek, and that's difficult pill to swallow. That's a huge pill to swallow. That, you know, we were in the Champions League, now we're not. We're back into the Europa League. So to then go back out there against your derby team, I'm not going to say they're our biggest rivals. I think right now Liverpool are where we should be. That's the biggest rival. But it could have gone a lot worse. Yes, we were subdued. Yes, we didn't go out all out. And that's disappointing to see, because I feel like Man City didn't go all out. So perhaps if we had taken the game to them, we would have got more out of it. But in the long stretch of things, that could have gone a lot worse. We could sit, or like the amount of people that I saw before the game, not just United and City fans, but just football fans in general, basically saying that Man City were going to get absolutely rolled over by Pep. And it was just disappointing that last season we rolled them over numerous times, and we didn't bring that into this game. But like I said, we lost in the midweek. Well, obviously going out midweek for Champions League, I just don't think that helped.
Yeah, I think Ricky hit the nail on the head. I think he did a tweet and he said something like, if Ollie had played like that for the previous games, you'd probably still be in the Champions League. Like, that's the way that we should have played. Because, to be fair, like, that comment there says we controlled the game better than we have done. I would agree with that. We never really looked in danger. Someone said if we did choose to attack Man City, then obviously that would open up gaps. Of course it would, and then it's more of a risky game, isn't it? We played it safe. City played it safe, and that's the frustrating thing, because I did feel like they were there for the taking. But of course, looking back, and I think Nick said that in the chat as well, looking back, like before that game, you'd have probably taken a draw, and we've ended up with a point, which may, in the long run, turn out to be a pretty handy point. If we beat Sheffield United, we're not far off the top spot, are we? So it's one of them. But I think for me, it's more about the performance. Like, I just felt frustrated as an attacking player. I'm obviously going to want to see goals, of course. And I just felt like goals were there for us. Goals were there for the taking. And we just didn't make the most of that opportunity. And that's why I'm frustrated. But in terms of the result, a draw, a point against City, you'd have to say is a decent point at the end of the day. You just expect so much more, don't you? And especially like you say, Emma, after the disappointment midweek, we're all expecting this bounce back, this great derby, battering Man, not battering, but you know what I mean, being up for Man City, dominating Man City and scoring a few goals, and it just didn't happen. And it was disappointing. I mean, it could be worse. We could be sat here talking about Arsenal. Someone just mentioned Aubameyang there. I mean, let's touch on Arsenal actually briefly, because we've said so many times that we can compare them to us in the terms that they've got a young manager, an unproven manager. They're obviously in this period of transition. Aubameyang signed his new deal, and the only goal he scored, I believe, is a penalty against. He scored a penalty against us. I don't know if that was before or after the deal, but then his own goal. I mean, Meg, I'll start with you on this. Arsenal, they're in a bad place, aren't they, right now?
Bad? Bloody terrible. Thank God we're red of Manchester, not red of London. Jesus Christ. They're just, is it capitulating? Is that the right word?
It's a good word. It's a very good word.
I know.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know if it's the right word. It might be a good word, but I'm not sure if it's the right word. But they are. But you know, when you go into that game, and I was sat watching it, I was thinking, I hope they lose just for banter. Like, just I hope they lose for banter. But they actually did go on and lose. And then you sat there and think, they have actually just gone and done that. Like, I didn't have a great Sunday, like in my own terms of football. I didn't have a good Sunday, so I was sat there. I was a bit like, I don't really know if I want to watch football anymore because I'm pissed off with it. And then Arsenal come on, and they just lift my mood seeing Arsenal. And it's even better when you've got Arsenal fans as friends. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I watched every time I tune into AFTV, like when Arsenal playing, and if I'm watching it, I'll tune in and out a bit. Especially if there's been a goal, I'll obviously dip in. And seeing them out there the other day, and when DT asked permission to throw the chair, I was howling because he was seething. And I thought that was actually quite polite, to be fair. But I do feel for Arsenal fans right now. They must be thinking, like, are we getting relegated? Because they cannot see any way up at the minute. I mean, Emma, they're poor, aren't they?
Oh my God, I don't even think poor is the word right now for them. They are literally, it just makes you laugh, does it? And I love going onto Twitter after Arsenal have lost and just seeing them get bantered and hammered.
Funny.
Just all that, like the videos that go up, all the memes, and I'm just sat there like, do you know what? I'm so glad that, you know, Arsenal just take the flack of Man United, don't they? Really, they just take the pressure off when we lose a game. Arsenal just go one better, don't they? Every single time, they are just banter FC.
I feel like they literally looked across the board at the weekend and was like, "Oh, you're dropping points and you've dropped points. Oh, shall we drop some points as well? But we'll just go one better and we'll drop all three." They're brilliant to watch. I love it. I'm very happy.
Yeah, but so the ball's going to better it. Like you say, like we'll do really bad and we'll think, oh, things won't get any worse than this. And then next up Arsenal, it's like, take to the stage. You know what I mean? They just do it. They make, I don't know.
Arsenal's like, hold my beer. I could do worse.
Yeah, exactly. Literally like that. I agree. Callum, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't endorse gambling, but I had a bet on Burnley and made a lot of money. And even better, I was watching Troops watch along. Yeah, Troops, at the minute, I've been tuning into him, obviously, in New York. Really, really funny. The guy that he's working with as well is really funny. But yeah, I mean, thanks for the super chat. But I agree. Arsenal are a bit of a laughing stock at the minute. But it's all good us laughing at Arsenal. But if we're going to lose to Sheffield United, then exactly what are we bragging about? You know what I mean? And that's a frustrating thing to us.
We're not losing.
Yeah. I'm confident. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I really do. But Van der Beek is in the title of this video for a reason, because a lot of people think we'll rotate players for this one. I mean, Emma, can you see Van der Beek getting a start on Thursday?
Yeah, I've got him in my lineup to start. Well, if he can't start against Sheffield, when can he play? Like, this is going to be our easiest game. So, of course, Donny has to start. People are saying, you know, you might need to rest players against Sheffield. I don't feel like we need to rest players, but you know, I do think Donny will start. You know, it is between like Donny and Pogba, but for me, Donny has to start with Fred. Yeah, I just think he needs to be given a chance. Like, if he can't start against Sheffield, when is he going to start? Because I just feel sorry for him at the moment. Like, I sit there and every time he's not playing or not picked, I'm like, why? Like, why isn't he? And I feel like he must feel at times frustrated.
It's got to be frustrating. It's frustrating for us fans, definitely watching and seeing him sat there. Can't even seem to buy a game at the minute. I mean, Meg, Van der Beek, would you like to see him start against Sheffield?
I would. I feel like if we're going to rotate players, though, for me, it would be Bruno that probably gets a rest, because I feel like Pogba's not really been starting as well. And I feel like if we're going to have that opportunity to rotate players and we're going to use this as that game, then perhaps Bruno doesn't start. And if we are struggling, that he comes on. But yeah, I think, Bruno would. I'm not saying that I don't think we need him, because I think if Bruno doesn't play well, Manchester United don't play well. So we need to almost find a rhythm without him. If he's on that pitch and he's not performing, then we need to find something. So let's, if we take him out of the equation, how do we process that? Can we play Van der Beek and Pogba and Fred together, or can we play Donny and Van der Beek? Whether it's Van der Beek, Fred, and a Matic or a McTominay, or whether it's Van der Beek, Pogba and Fred. But yeah, I think perhaps if we're going to rotate, that Bruno steps aside.
Yeah, I think. Ollie, if you think about the last few games, I think he has been trying to rotate Bruno, hasn't he? He's brought Bruno on in a few games. I do think there is that fatigue element. He's a really important player for us, and we all know that. And what worry is for Sheffield, though, we've already mentioned the fact that it should be an easy game for us. If we can play something, we'll get punished. But Sheffield, we know, are one of them teams who will fight for every single ball. They will not give anything up. They will make a torrid time of it. And we need to be on our own game, and we need players who are going to graft for me. And Pogba is one that we keep talking about. Do you think this game will suit him? I mean, poor Pogba, I'll be honest, last few games he's played well for us. Anything else, any issues aside, if we're focusing just on the football, for me, he's played well for us, and I think we need to focus on that. Callum, thank you for the super chat. It says, I'm only just tuning in. What is your predicted 11? We'll give you that very, very shortly. Don't worry, we will work through that. But in terms of Paul Pogba, more comments have come out this week. Riola has obviously come out and said that he won't be leaving in January. It's hard to do a big deal in January. Pogba did his Instagram post, which is all gobbledygook. Make of that what you will. Emma, where do you stand with this situation? Do you think it's a case now as fans of us just praying that Pogba plays well on the football pitch and ignore anything else?
Yeah, I think we just need to just focus on Paul Pogba just playing. Whether he stays or goes, he just needs to put 100% in. For me, I didn't understand his Instagram post particularly. It's quite cryptic. And it was like 5 days too late, if you know what I mean, for fans to kind of relate to him in some way. And then his agent coming out, like, I just feel like his agent's backtracking now. Is it because he feels like no one's going to pay up for Paul Pogba? That's what I think it is. I don't know. But yeah, for me, we just need to trust that Paul Pogba is just going to continue with his performance and put 110% in every game, because that's all we can wish for at the moment.
Yeah, and that's what, to be fair, that's what I've been crying out for. I've said forever for Paul Pogba. We know his ability, we know how good he is, but I was sick and tired of the circus that comes with him. And this last 2 weeks or so, you see that circus again. For me, if he's leaving, whether he's leaving or not, I don't, to be fair, I couldn't care less. Like Ollie would say, I couldn't care less. I just want to see Paul Pogba on the football pitch and playing well. That's what I want to see, and I want to see him giving everything for that badge. So that's what I mean. If I'm commenting on his football last few games, that's fair enough. But for me, anything else, he just needs to keep his mouth shut and just play football. If he wants to leave, that's fair enough, but you don't need to make it common knowledge. You don't need to flirt with other clubs. You don't need to talk in innuendos or whatever it is. Just play your football. And Meg, I know you're a big Paul Pogba fan. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big Paul Pogba fan because I think he's an absolutely talented footballer. The way that he plays, he's casual, like he's casual on the football pitch, don't get me wrong, but that's his style. He can literally, he turns 3 players of the day without even touching the ball. Just his body movement. And I think when you've got a player like that, you just want to get the best out of him. You want to be able to turn 3 players every single time he's got the ball. And that's what I like to focus on with him. I feel like he does come with this media circus, and I don't think it's all the time. I don't think it's very fair. He gets absolutely picked on for the smallest, minute details. I mean, we talked about he's been picked on for his hairstyles. That's how ridiculous it has got with him at times, where he can't even have a hairstyle without somebody dissecting the fact that he's done something to his hair. He's changed it. Yeah. So I think for me, like I said with you, Soph, it's very fair to say that right now he is doing quite well for us when he's been on the pitch, and that's what I want to see more of.
Yeah, I agree completely, and I agree with the fact that there is a lot of attention drawn to Pogba, whether it's because his price tag. He's obviously a big profile player coming in. He's got a big ego. He's a big character in the dressing room. I get that completely. A lot more attention on him. But what I will also say is I don't think he helps himself a lot of the times as well. You saw with the rumours of the France squad and whatnot, straight away took to social media. Like Emma said, he didn't wait several days before doing it. Straight away, he was on social media and rubbishing any of those rumours, and we heard nothing of that. And I do kind of feel a bit hurt and disrespected as a fan, and I like Paul Pogba. So obviously, and especially you, Meg, as well, you're a Pogba fan. If you're seeing this from Paul Pogba, you're going to be a bit hurt as a fan because you want him to come out and rubbish those rumours. So it's obvious there's something in them. And for me, it just needs to be kept private. It needs to stay professional. And if he wants to leave, that's fair enough. You should respect it. But I just think he needs to be more respectful. I don't think he's helped himself in the public eye a lot of the times as well. But I do agree that there is added pressure on him because there's so many eyes focusing on him because he sells stories at the end of the day. Like I say, he's a big name on a lot of money and he's an easy target, unfortunately. And that, unfortunately, is the way that it's gone for him at United, isn't it? But I agree. Focus on how he's playing right now. He's playing well and hopefully he continues that on Thursday. Callum, thank you for the super chat. He says, we still need to start over Fred or Bruno 100%. Emma, do you think Fred will come back into the fold for this one? Because obviously he's missed a few games now.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've got Fred in my lineup with Donny. I think he has to. I think he is a game for him. No disrespect to Scott, but I don't want to play Scott. He's a very sideways player. I feel like he's more of when you play defensive. I don't want to go into the game defensive. There's no need. They're shocking. They can't score. Let's just attack. So for me, Fred has definitely got to play.
I think Fred gives us that tenacity in the middle. I've mentioned Sheffield are going to be a physical team. They're going to get about us. And I do think we need that bit of tenacity in there. I think we need somebody who's going to cover the ground and get about. And in my opinion, we haven't got another player who does that like Fred in the middle. I mean, Fred surely will come back in for this one, won't he?
Yeah, I should think so. I think he's like a little bulldog in the middle at times, and he's there and he's
like
about.
A wasp. Yeah. When a wasp is you're trying to get rid of it, you just can't get rid of it. That's what Freddie's like. He's like a wasp.
He is, I think, but he's like a disciplined wasp.
But not when he gets sent off.
Positionally, he's here, out, and everywhere, but he's always there. He seems to get lost on the pitch. He's about a lot, but in the right places. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I agree. That's what I mean. Like, I think Fred is a nightmare to play against in that middle. I would hate to play against him because he just doesn't stop. And I don't think there's another player who pressurises people on the ball like Fred. And I think we lack that, especially against West Ham. I think we missed that. Someone just said that. Callum said that. I'll read that out in a second. But we miss Fred in the middle when we don't have him there. Santa G, thanks for the super chat. Hey, so if we don't be seeing United stand anymore, miss you out there. I'm always willing and waiting to go to United stand whenever Mark or Flex contact me. I haven't left the United stand. It's just I've got a lot of new people getting on there. I've been trying to rotate it a little bit. But yeah, I'm still got a good relationship with them all. And like I say, whenever they want me, I'll be on there. But I'm glad you're tuning on the hairdryer treatment. I appreciate that. You followed me over here. So thank you for the support. And then there's Callum's comment saying that we're struggling against West Ham without Fred. Fred does give us that energy in the middle. Declan Rice, I want to touch on him actually, because you just mentioned West Ham. Both of you, I'll throw this to both of you. I'll start with you, Em. Would you take him at United?
Yeah, 100%. Why wouldn't you?
And I rate him.
Yeah, I do as well. 100%. I think if you wouldn't want him, the question is, why would you not want him? Like, have you seen what we've got? Like, we need something else. So for me, 100%.
Yeah, I do rate him. I mean, Meg, are you a fan of Declan Rice?
Yeah, and I think like he's stepped his game up a bit more. He's chipping in with the goals as well. He scored a banger the other week. Can't remember who it was against. Edge of the box. I think he's on the left-hand side coming in with his right foot onto the back post. So yeah, I think he's a good player.
Yeah, he is. He's a good player, and he's definitely one that I'd appreciate, to be fair, at United, because I think he's level above McTominay, if I'm being totally honest. And as much as I love McTominay, I do think Declan Rice is a different calibre of player, and he would suit us to a T in that holding role. I really do. And we'll see what happens with that one, Declan Rice. But yeah, Sheffield United, I don't know. I'd like to say I feel confident. I always think I have flashbacks to that game where Ollie McBurney scored right at the end when we had to come back and we thought we'd done it. And then McBurney scored and it hit him on the arm. Joe, and that mess of a game. I remember I was at football and we just finished and we got to the pub afterwards for the meal and whatnot. And I remember it being on TV and I was sitting there and being so just frustrated because I thought we'd done it. I literally thought we'd done it, and then that happened. I hope we do not make so much hard work of it this time. I mean, Emma, you mentioned going forward, Sheffield aren't doing that well. They're signing Brewster. They've got McBurney, like I mentioned. Maguire, as usual, getting a lot of stick. Mostly, to be fair, he played well against Man City, in my opinion.
He did.
It was more to do with the aftermath, like the hugging of John Stones and whatnot. But he's obviously got links with Sheffield. He's from there originally. And I think this will be an important game for him. So I fully expect us to stick with the standard Lindelof and Maguire at the back. And surely they should be able to handle McBurney, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the centre-back partnership will stay. Unless Ollie wants to change it up, then you may see Lindelof sit out for Axel, but I don't think that will happen. For me as well, left-back situation, I feel like he may play Telles only because Telles is great going forward, and I don't think Sheffield United will cause us any issues defensively. So I think he will probably rest Shaw and have Telles start. I think that will be my only change with the back line.
It's an interesting one. I mean, for me, I always feel like Ollie prefers Luke Shaw. If it was me choosing it, I'll probably Telles him as well. I think I'd like to see him whipping the balls in, but it's an awkward one because it does seem like Luke Shaw was immediately picking up to put him back in. Yeah, it does seem like it favours him, doesn't it? Callum, I hope you have a good time at football. Thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate that. Headrunner was spot on and they said Phil Jones was playing. If you remember, he got absolutely bodied in the build up to it. I think it was their first or second goal. Calamity Jones at it as usual. It's such a horrible game. Calvin Phillips is better than Declan Rice. Calvin Phillips is a very good player as well from Leeds. I must admit, I do like the look of him. But yeah, for me, Declan Rice, I just, like Meg said, I think he's just improved so much as a player, and I just think he suits us to a T. I really do feel like he's perfectly suited for us in that middle, and I hope that pays off. But Meg, defensively, Maguire, did you think he played well the other day?
Yeah, I did. I think he had a good game. He didn't really do much wrong. I don't feel like there was overly a lot to do at times.
What's your thoughts on the hugging situation with John Stones? What's your thoughts on that? Did you read too much into that?
Not really. I feel like if it was the middle of the game, then I'd understand. Or if it was before the game, I don't really like seeing that. But, you know, times have changed now. You can't get away with some of the tackles that they used to get away with.
Yeah.
We know that. So I feel like that kind of grit and that kind of style of play has died out a little bit, and it is more about like tactical play now rather than just not violent, but let's say basically at times it was violence, wasn't it? You look at the old style of playing. But so I think had it been before the game, during the game, then fair enough. I probably would have had something to say about it. But game's done, dusted, finished, move on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get irate about it like a lot of people have. I've seen people really slating it.
Yeah.
I just think I agree with you. I think it's modern, isn't it? I think back in the day, if you used to do that, you mentioned the Neville brothers, didn't you? And they didn't even look at each other.
Yeah.
But that's the way. Have we really got that mentality at our club right now? And I have to honestly say we haven't. I think Bruno is the only one who brings that kind of, I don't know, that ultimate leader mentality. Do you know what I mean?
Have you got that anywhere though? Like if you look at any club across the board,
I agree.
Across that Premier League, I don't sit and think that team would literally not piss on if you were on fire.
Yeah.
No one would. Everyone's all nice to each other.
I think it was more because it was like a derby, and everyone, when it's a derby, do you know what I mean? It's your rivals. You want that kind of a little bit of fight. I think maybe they should have just done it off the pitch, maybe privately, because I feel like it wasn't just any other game. It was a derby where, people, the fans are when the fans are there, chanting to each other, that back and forth. I feel like it just didn't feel like a derby because it's just all nicey, all friendly. I just don't like that at the moment.
I agree. I think the way that the game was played out and then that happened after it, I don't know, it just felt like it wasn't a derby. It did feel like a bit of a pre-season game or a friendly, didn't it? But at the same time, if you think, say, for example, we got battered 3-0 to City and you've seen Maguire hug Stones at the end like that, imagine the uproar in that context. I think in any context, like Meg said, I think it depends. Certain people would jump on his back. But, yeah, I think maybe in private would have been a bit better.
I think
but
if there was fans in the stadium, I don't think it would have happened.
Yeah.
But that's because there was no fans.
Yeah. Fans do have a big influence, to be fair, on the whole mindset. We know that it would have felt more like a derby game if the fans were there, because the fans would have been at each other's necks. And it was all just a bit pedestrian, was it? All just a bit nicey, very dull, not entertaining, and both teams not wanting to win. And then that, at the end of it, I think that just summed up the whole game, really. The fact that it had a hunger at the end of it, that summed up the atmosphere, that summed up what the tone of the game was like. And that's just not what we wanted to see as fans. That's not what we expected to see as fans. But I do agree with Meg in the sense that I think it's like more modern day football now. I think that's the way that players are. We haven't got that old school mentality of your rivals. You don't even look them in the eye. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem to happen nowadays, does it? That doesn't mean I don't want it to happen, but it just doesn't seem to happen in that way anymore. But honest opinions, do you think we'll concede against Sheffield? Bear in mind their form, the way that they're playing, the way that we're defended. I can honestly say, hand on heart, I never go into a game now thinking we're not going to concede today. I never feel that confident, ever, regardless of who we're playing against. I just feel like we've got that switch-off moment in us. I really do, and I'm hoping that I'm proven wrong on Thursday. But, Emma, I'll let you start on that one. Do you think we'll keep a clean sheet?
We are definitely going to keep a clean sheet. Do you know what? Yeah. The only way we are going to concede is by a silly mistake. That's the only way we're going to concede, because there's no reason that we should concede in this game. It will only be with a set piece or, an individual defender's mistake. That's the only way I can see us conceding. Otherwise, no, clean sheet for me.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Like I say, I don't know why, I just never fully trust our centre-backs in particular, to be fair. And I want to mention a name in a minute. I'll do it after I've asked Meg the same question. But there's a player that I don't think can play that well of late, and I haven't heard anyone talking about it, so I want to talk about it. But yeah, Meg, clean sheet or not on Thursday?
I'm going to be positive. I'm going to think we'll keep a clean sheet. I do think they will have chances. We do get opened up, but I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I'm going to put trust in the players.
Yes, Meg.
Love that. Right, a player that I'm going to put out there for a bit of a debate, and everyone in the chat, I want to hear your opinions as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I knew this was coming.
I'm glad.
As soon as you said there's a player that's not going to play well, I knew exactly who you were talking about without even saying anything.
Mm-hmm. It looks all over the place to me, and I don't know if it's just me seeing it. I'm not seeing many tweets about it, but for me, he seems to switch off at the back post. We know he's not the best going forwards. He never looks like he's got the ball in control. I don't know. Lately, I'm thinking, what am I watching with Wan-Bissaka? Because it's been so. We know how good he is on a one-to-one defending. No one can really run past him. But for me, he seems out of position. He seems to switch off at the back post. And going forwards, I don't know. He seems to hold us back a bit because he doesn't offer that much. Every time he puts a cross in for an assist, which is once in a blue moon, if we're honest about it, we're like, oh, Wan-Bissaka's improving going forwards. But then you don't see anything again for a while. Like I say, he's literally running like he can't control the ball. It's not everything's unnatural to him. I mean, honest, hand on heart, I'm not a hater. I love Wan-Bissaka. I just don't think he's been playing well lately. I mean, Meg, I'll start with you as a defender. How do you feel about him at the minute? You said you knew it was coming, so I'm intrigued to see why you knew it was him.
Because but I have seen people talking about this. I feel like some people have lost their head a little bit with him because I'm now seeing that we need to prioritise a right back.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not saying you said it, but that's what I've actually seen. I'm seeing people saying Man United in January need to get a right back in. This guy was like one of our most consistent players last year. Okay, he's lost a bit of form at the moment. What I do think with his positioning, and there is a screenshot of it somewhere, that all of the team has kind of slid across. Now, when you play football, you are taught that the ball's the danger. So if the ball's on the left-hand side, you slide across, and if there's a player on the right, you kind of get over when the ball's travelling. But what's being the teams playing against Manchester United have realised if you can play the ball across quickly, you'll catch us out because we don't transition back across the pitch very quickly. So he's kind of like sliding over, expecting to be able to get back across, and we're not doing that quick enough. So that is down on him, but that's down on everybody coming across. You kind of like, he's playing, say their right winger's playing against our left back. Then you go over, Maguire will go over to be their cover, Lindelof kind of slides round, Wan-Bissaka slides round. But they're transferring the ball over so quickly and we're not moving as a team over again. But yeah, I think for me, just off form a little bit. I don't feel like he needs to be cast aside and out of the team he goes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I do think he's off form. And I'm not saying he needs to be sold. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying I'm pointing out what I've noticed his last few performances. He just doesn't look on it. Could be that he's tired. Could be that, like you say, just a dip in form. Could be a confidence issue. Could be a tactical thing, like you say, Meg, where maybe Ollie needs to step in. But for whatever reason, it's frustrating to watch. It's infuriating for me. And I've thought it for a long time. He's playing like he's on stilts. Genuinely, he looks like he's on stilts trying to kick a ball sometimes. He looks so unnatural. And I know defensively he's so good, and sometimes you're kind of willing to put up with the lack of attackingness because ultimately, as a defender, your first rule should be to defend. We know that, but modern football, we know we want to see attacking fullbacks. Wan-Bissaka, we know defensively he's very good, but even of late, you can't tell me he's been very good defensively because he's not been, has he?
No, I absolutely love Wan-Bissaka, but
I do.
It is clear to see that he has had a different form. You know, even like you said, so he is a fantastic defender, but of late, he's just been making some stupid errors. You know, his positioning has been awful. Is it because he's tired? Is he overplayed? I've seen someone say, like, I don't know what it is, but I still have trust in him. If as soon as he gets his form back, I know he will be that brick wall there. I just think maybe he just needs to just gather himself again, go back to the start, and just rebuild himself, get that confidence boost. I think maybe he needs.
Yeah, it could be a confidence thing, to be fair. I'm just hoping he gets back to his best. Because like I say, I'm not writing him off. I know he's a very good defender. We've always said on the ball, we know he needs to improve. But these last few weeks, I think he just needs to focus on just the defensive side of it. It's almost like he's trying to think too much on the effective stuff going forwards and he's forgetting his job. Do you know what I mean? And I just hope that he finds that balance. But I agree, I'm not writing him off. I just wanted to have a little... So I haven't heard anyone else really talking about it. And this is one thing that I've really noticed. So I just wanted to have a discussion about him. Thank you so much for the super chat. It says Timbo and Bengi should play against Sheffield. Ollie's playing Maguire and Lindelof too. They're going to get injured.
I'm going to just jump in on this because I completely disagree.
Go on, Meg.
I sat here the other day, and well, actually, the title of one of our videos of the week was "Consistency is Key."
Yes, yeah.
And it really is with defence to be able to be consistent and form partnerships. If we just decide that, okay, we'll drop one of them and we'll change it about, it's really difficult. When you miss a game, you've got to come back in as well. And I just think if you're going to rotate a few players, you don't need to be messing around with everyone. Yeah. Throwing two new centre-backs, centre-back is such an important role. If you get that wrong, the whole team can just be kaput. It doesn't matter what you're trying to play. if your centre backs and your core through the middle isn't good enough. So I get why he said it. This person said it, but I completely disagree.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think Sheffield, you're looking at the bottom of the league, you'd think this is one where you maybe would rotate a few players. But this is one thing I've always said is that if it's me, no game in the Premier League is an easy game. That's a fact. No game, and we've just seen Arsenal lose to Burnley. I mean, they're a similar level, okay, but but you know what I mean, yeah. No game is an easy game. You cannot write anybody off. We know that. But for me, I always think as a manager, if I'm going to rotate players, I would rather win that game early, start with my strongest, and then rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll still start with that centre back pairing, and maybe think, oh, Maguire, he could do with a bit of a rest now. If we want 2-0 up, for example, then bring them off and then put Mengi on. That's the way I would always do it. But I do think this could be a game where maybe we could rotate. But you can't go into it too complacent. But we obviously have to be mindful. We've played a lot of games already. We've got a lot of games coming up. We've got Europa League coming up, boo-hoo. But we have, and we need to think about the rotation there as well. So I understand that super chat, and I understand why you'd want to rotate. And maybe in this game as well, because of where Sheffield are. But I just think you cannot go into it too complacent. You know what I mean? You've got to be careful. Headhunter said Maguire needs a centre back that complements him. He's pretty good. Played well against City. Look, you don't stumble across being Manchester United captain. You don't stumble across the big move to Leicester and then stumble across an even bigger move to Manchester United. He's obviously a good player. And I completely agree with that. But the facts are, has he been defending well at United? Has he been defending good enough? No. Have we been defending as a team good enough? No. But we know as captain and as an £80 million centre back, the pressure is going to be on you. People are going to look to you. People expect you to perform miracles and transform. But we know, obviously, there are improvements that need to be made. And the frustrating thing for me, I think, is that Ollie still doesn't know his best 11. We've said, two years into the job, and he still doesn't know his best 11. Still, it's obvious that he wants Lindelof and Maguire to be the best partnership. We're still yet to see whether it is or not, because for me, far too many mistakes, too many goals conceded. Like I said, we played well against City, so I think he'll keep it the same. However, is that the partnership going forward to take us to the next level? I don't think it is, and I do think we need to sign a centre-back to partner Harry Maguire. I'd agree with that. A few people in the chat, I think it's Carl who spread this one, saying 9-0 to United. If we see that, put a bet on it, because I would love to see that.
I am so sorry that Carl comments in every video 9-0. Like, I can't even see the comments because I'm on phone, but I just know that Carl is in there putting 9-0.
You know what? If you see it, I'll be happy with that. I'll take it. I want to probably say that as well, because this is a name that I've seen today circulating on Twitter. Kieran Trippier has been linked with a move back to the Premier League to Manchester United. Would you take him? I'll start with you, Emma, on this one. Would you take Trippier at United?
Do you know what? Yeah, like, it's always good to strengthen, isn't it? We've seen that we need the squad depth. We need to strengthen. I would take him. I don't see why not, to be fair.
It'd be competition for Wan-Bissaka, to be fair, wouldn't he? I mean,
exactly.
If he's not playing well, if he's having a dip in form, if he's tired, you'd have a very suitable replacement in Trippier to come on, or vice versa. I mean, Meg, would you take him? Do you think he'd be satisfied to come in and be like a substitute to Wan-Bissaka, or vice versa?
I don't think it will ever. I don't think it'll happen if we've got Wan-Bissaka. I don't feel like we're going to prioritise the right back. I don't know. I'm really sat on the fence with this. A part of me is thinking probably not. Yeah. He created one of the best memories when he scored that free kick for England, and I feel like if you could bring that and bring me some entertainment and joy from free kicks and stuff like that, then brilliant. But I don't know whether I would or not. If he came, obviously, yeah, 100% support him. But I just don't get this like ooh feeling about it.
Trippier, I think, is a very good player, and I like that we linked with him. But if I'm honest, if we're looking at a right back or a full back, Lamptey from Brighton would be the one that I would be moving more towards, because he's younger, very, very promising talent. Wouldn't mind being more of a rotation player, I don't think, at United. And I just think that he's such an exciting player. Going forward, he offers so much, and he's so small as well, and he's so agile. I just love him, and I think he's class. So I think if we were looking for a right back, I would rather assign someone like Lamptey than Trippier. Even though I think Trippier's a good player, and I wouldn't be upset if we did sign him. I think he's a good player. For me, Lamptey is the one that I would choose over him. That's my opinion anyway. Kieran, thank you for the super chat. Said Lindelof and definitely Maguire aren't good enough in my opinion. I'd look at Upamecano, Paz Torres. Buying both would probably cost less than Maguire. I'd say, yeah, it'd be close. We know we overpaid for Maguire, we know that. But Upamecano is a player that I like the look of, and I would definitely take him at United. And again, I think he'd suit us, but we'll see what happens. A few people are putting a thumbs up to Trippier. They like the idea of that signing. Trippier will play for the badge. We want to see more players playing for the badge, don't we? But right, we're gonna slowly round off the show, and I want to ask in the chat firstly, put in your score predictions for Sheffield United. What do you think the score is going to be? Who's going to score the goals? And I'm going to ask the girls what their predictions are as well. I'll start with you, Meg, on this one. Score prediction for Sheffield United.
3-0.
Oh, okay. You're that confident? 3-0?
Yeah. I'm just going for it.
I like it. Who's going to score then?
Martial.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno's going to come on and score. And let's see. I'd quite like it if Fred got a goal.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I
that.
have 3 different goal scorers. What, any of them 3?
I was at the Wolves game when Fred scored actually before. I was at that Wolves game. And it was, yeah, I'd like to see Fred score again. To be fair, it doesn't happen too often. He seems to flash it. Look, we know that he's got the ability. We saw he scored one of the goals in the past. Like, he's got a great left foot, but he seems to snatch at stuff, doesn't he? It's like he's not composed. He panics in front of goal. So I'd like to see him get a goal. Maybe that would help his confidence.
I'd love to get a goal.
It's a nice variety. It's going through. So we've got 4-0. United to lose 1-0. Did shut up. Free game, it says 2-1 to United. Fred can't shoot. That's the thing, he actually can. That's the frustrating thing. Yeah, like I've seen it, he can do it. He just doesn't do it. He seems to panic in a United shirt for whatever reason. Lone Star says 4-0 to United. 3-1 Rashford, Greenwood, McTominay. Lone Star, 4-0. A lot of positives, to be fair. Not many people betting against us. And a lot of people are predicting clean sheets, which I like. We've got an 8-0 there. Doesn't quite top the 9-0 that Carl's predicted, but we get in there. Emma, what's your predictions going to this one? I'm trying to think of mine.
It's exactly the same as Meg. It's 3-0. Clean sheet. It's got to be. I'm so positive.
Love it. Yeah, I hope you're right. I think that would do us the world of good, especially Maguire at the back, keeping that clean sheet would do us a world of good. I'm going to agree with Naheem. I'm going to say 3-1. Like I say, I'm never going to a game confident we're not going to concede. I just imagine like a set piece or something, just a scrappy goal, a bit like the goals that we conceded against. It was against PSG, the scrappy goals, like the ping pong in the box, that kind of goal. I wouldn't put that past us to concede something like that. I don't think that carve is open or anything, but I do think that we are liable to concede. So I'm going to say 3-1. Martial to score. Van der Beek, hopefully he gets a start, and I'd like to see him get on the score sheet as well. And I'm going to put Harry on there against, obviously, a team that I'm sure is pretty close to his heart. So I'm going to say Harry Maguire to score as a bullet header as well. I'd love to see that. So 3-1 is my prediction. A lot of people feeling positive. I love that. I know Wolves are playing Chelsea at the minute, aren't they, right now, I think? I believe it's still 0-0. So we haven't missed anything in that, which is good. And yeah, all left to say, guys, is please make sure you go and check out, obviously, both girls are on social media. I'll get them to check that out now. But I'll start with you, Emma. If you could just tell people where they can find your channel as well.
Yeah, I have my YouTube channel, That United Family, so you can find me on there. I'm sure Carl's been commenting in the chat. And you can find me on Twitter, Mrs. Emma Edgar.
Make sure you go and check out her channel, honestly. It's really, really good. Great content. Just trying to find it in the chat now. But go and check it out. That United Family. There we go. Hello, haha. That United Family. Go and check out their channel. Go and subscribe to it. Definitely. Share the love. Really, really good content over there. And videos very regularly. I've seen you've been putting a lot out lately. That's fantastic. Meg, shout out your socials as well, please.
You can find me on Twitter, which is @MeganCan with a little underscore. And you can find me on here. And we want to do more videos, don't we? So if you've if you want to open it up to all teams and the Premier League, then obviously just let us know, and we'll get that sorted too.
Definitely. Michael's just snuck in with a little super chat. Thank you for that, Mike. Appreciate it. He says, are you worried Van der Beek is regretting his move, given his treatment so far? Oh, 100%.
Do you think?
I think he's sitting there at the minute thinking, what am I going to do to get a start? As a player, that's good. Like, he was like a key player for Ajax, don't forget, in the Champions League. He must feel frustrated at the fact that he hasn't been able to add a lot. I'm not saying he wants to leave or anything like that, but it must be frustrating for him. We don't know his ability. I'm not sure he quite planned to be sat out as much as he has been. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do get that. I think when you come to the Premier League, it's such a huge league. I think it's such a big club with big players. I wonder whether he thought, I'm going to walk into this team. I don't think anybody moves and thinks, I don't think this team. But I feel like when he comes on, he's still playing. Like, and he comes on and he fits quite into that team like really well. So I feel like he probably won't be worried too much. But I think as a professional, you would know, don't you? You know that you're going to have to work so hard to get into a team and keep your place.
I think regretting is probably the wrong word. I'd probably say I think he'd be frustrated. I think that's the word I'd use. Frustrated at the fact he's not playing more because he's such a good player. Like I say, he played such a big role at Ajax, and I'm sure he as a professional, like you mentioned, he would want to contribute more, and it must be frustrating to see, especially when we're not playing well, him not being able to come on and aid and help that. Do you know what I mean? I think that would get to him. So I think frustration is probably the best word to sum that up. But guys, make sure you go subscribe to Emma's channel. Make sure you hit the like on the video. Subscribe to Hairdryer Treatment if you're new and you like the content. I really appreciate it. Thursday night, 10:30 after the United game, I'm going to be streaming on ECL Official. I think it's ECL Official 2020 on Twitch. I'll put a link on my Twitter and in this video. They sponsored this video as well. So make sure you go and follow them on Twitch. I'll be there playing some FIFA on Thursday night. So come and have a laugh at me there and see how bad I am. I'm sure it'll be entertaining anyway, to say the least. But look forward to doing it. And thanks to the girls as always. Have a lovely evening. Fingers crossed we do get the win and we get the clean sheet and the positive results that you guys have been anticipating. But until then, keep smiling, stay positive, and we'll speak to you again soon.